What is up, guys? I am Big D, and this is Big D's All Things Lions podcast number episode 2, offensive edition. Let's go, baby!
I got a whole lot of money. Tell it for me. Bottle keep popping it.
What is up, guys? Tonight we are going to be breaking down the offense. The next video we're actually going to be doing a defensive breakdown, and let's just get right into it. Starting off with the quarterback position, we're going to roll through the offense. We're going to roll through some of the backups and some of the third-string guys that are going to be getting some looks here real soon in Canton, Ohio, at the preseason game, at the Hall of Fame game that is coming up. Let's dive right into it. So first off, we got Jared Goff, our quarterback, number 16. Jared Goff is coming off his best season as a Lion, best season as a pro, in my opinion. 4,600 plus yards, 37 touchdowns. Really good, solid season. You've really seen Goff take the offense, take ownership of the offense, come into one of his own this past season. And I think Goff's going to really excel this season because we got a ton of weapons. We got some new weapons as well for him that coming out of this draft class this year. So we're just going to see how it all goes, and I think Goff's going to really excel this year. I know we got the new offensive coordinator with John Morton, but people tend to forget that John Morton was our pass game coordinator in 2022 when we really kind of turned things around, because we sat A. Lynn down in 2021, Anthony Lynn, the offensive coordinator that Campbell originally hired in 2021. We brought Ben in. Well, Ben was already on the team. Ben was the tight ends coach. Ben took over. Campbell still kind of had the reins in 2022 and then gave him eventually to Ben in the back half of 2022. But John Morton was a pass game coordinator here. And he also was a offensive coordinator of the Jets in some years back. Josh McCown was quarterback there, and that was Josh McCown's best season as a quarterback. And the Jets really didn't have a good year. They really didn't have, a lot of players and stuff like that. But John Morton did all right being the offensive coordinator there. Next, we're going to go into wide receiver 1, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Split him out wide, play him in the slot. Amon-Ra, monster numbers every year, 100-plus catches last year for the third year in a row, 1,200-plus yards, 10-plus touchdowns. I mean, Amon-Ra's a lock for that kind of every season. Really reliable, really good hands, doesn't really drop the ball much. Him and Jared have a really good connection with each other. And for whatever reason, after 4 years in the NFL just doesn't get with Amon-Ra because he's always open. And even if he's not open, he's open. He makes the tough catches, gets the tough yards, and he's honestly a do-it-all receiver. A lot of other teams don't require it, or you really don't see it as much, but our team really relies on all three phases, and also our receivers blocking. No block, no rock, as J-Mo would say. Also, Amon-Ra, just really solid, he's always had a chip on his shoulder ever since he's been here, and he's been a really solid producer. He's got the most catches of his draft class, and he's up there in yards and touchdowns, too. He's on track to be an all-time great Lion. Next, we'll move over to J-Mo. J-Mo and Amon-Ra, first duo, or only duo last year to have 1,000-plus yards each receiving in the NFL. J-Mo really came into his own last year. I really think J-Mo's going to have more yards this year than Amon-Ra. J-Mo might have 70 catches, 1,400 yards, average 20 yards a catch. Amon-Ra obviously probably, haul in 100-plus catches again. J-Mo really came to his own. He also had some rushes, some rushing yards. We use him on those trick plays and stuff like that everybody loves to watch. I think J-Mo's really going to come into his own this year. Really just hit the ground running and just to the moon for J-Mo. And plus, you can't catch him. When he got the ball in his hands, you ain't catching him. J-Mo is too fast. Probably the fastest guy in the NFL, if not top 3 fastest guys in the NFL. Crazy watching him run. Nobody's touching him. It looks like he's jogging out there. And then wide receiver 3, we got Tim Patrick, serviceable last year. We brought him in on the practice squad and, eventually signed him to the active roster. And Tim Patrick, put up 30-plus catches, 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. He was serviceable, He was coming off back-to-back injury seasons. Really tough for him to get back in the swing of things. And we brought him back on a 1-year deal, and then, you know, we drafted Tesla, which I think Tesla's going to end up being wide receiver 4. I know we have Khalif Raymond, but we kind of use Khalif as a gadget player, punt return, special teams. You know, Khalif gets his licks in here and there, you know, 20-plus catches, you know, touchdown here or there, receiving and stuff like that. Khalif's been around, too. He knows the system. He's a hard worker. You know, and when his number's called, he usually delivers. You know, we drafted Tesla in the 4th round. We drafted Tesla in the 3rd round, and I really think he's going to be our wide receiver 3. 6'4", 220-plus pounds. Hometown kid. Originally went to college here and then transferred to Arkansas. Arkansas didn't really have a really good passing game last year, but Tesla caught all his catches, didn't have no drops, and, you know, as long as he continues to develop and everything else like that, I think he'll eventually take over the reins of wide receiver 3 once Tim Patrick's all said and done here. And then, you know, we move into some other guys. We got Tom Kennedy. You know, he's been around in the practice squad. Tom Kennedy's been around for a long time. He's like the unsung hero of preseason. You know, Tom's going to put up stats and put up numbers for us. We got some other guys. We got Malik Taylor. He's been around for a bit. Jacoby Keeney James. We got some guys, you know. We got some guys at receiver. Ronnie Bell also from the Steelers. We got Ronnie Bell. So I really think. And we also drafted Dominic Lovett in the 7th round out of Georgia, and he had a really good, solid career at Georgia. And I really like Lovett. I think if he can make it on special teams, he has a chance. It's gonna be tough. We really don't have a lot of open spots on offense. It's going to be tough for him to make the team. And with that being said, let's just bounce right into tight end. We got Yeboah that we brought in from the Jets. We got Brock Wright. We got Zylstra. We got Sam Laporta. Yeboah's, you know, he's been around for a bit. He's more of a blocking tight end, which, like I said before, our team really relies on our skill position players to block. And, you know, we like a good blocking tight end here. And then Zylstra, you know, another blocking tight end. But Zylstra, he's also caught some balls, caught some touchdowns too. His most memorable game, he had like 5 catches for 26 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers in 2022, the Christmas Eve game. Zylstra's had some injuries too. A lot of our guys have. I mean, last year was crazy injuries. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. I mean, we were more fortunate on the offensive side than defensive side last year for injuries. Brock Wright, you know, Brock Wright's serviceable. Brock Wright's been along for a while. He knows the team. He knows Goff really well. Undrafted out of Notre Dame, and he made it, and he's got a contract extension. He's currently on a 3-year deal with us. 2021, you know, Brock Wright played some. In 2022, when we traded Hockenson, Brock Wright was our primary tight end. Saw increasing catches and touchdowns and stuff like that. And then, you know, Brock made that awesome play against the Jets, as well as in 2022 on that 4th and short, and ran that all the way to the end zone and put the team on his back. Brock Wright's serviceable tight end, good blocking tight end, good at catching. He's going to sneak out in the flat, catch some balls, catch some touchdowns, because, you know, Brock Wright. And then obviously we got Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta, rookie sensation, most catches by a tight end for the first 2 seasons in NFL history. Last year Sam was banged up in training camp, didn't really participate in training camp much. He battled with some injuries last year. You could see it on the field. You know, him and Goff weren't really on the same connection they were his rookie season, but as the season went on, you could see Goff starting to target him more. Laporta started to make more of an impact. He put up really good numbers last year. Good numbers both seasons he's been here. He's a really good solid tight end who, again, is probably just scratching the surface. He blocks really well. He does whatever you ask him to. He's a great guy. He's got a great attitude. And Sam Laporta's a top 5 tight end in the NFL. So, I mean, you really think about it. We got really good, like, top 5, top 10 players on every position level on our team. And that's a good place to be. That's a good problem to have. Then we move into the offensive line. We got Decker, Graham, Mahogany, Ratledge, Panay. Decker, we drafted him in 2016. he's had some ups and downs in his career. He had, kind of an up and down year last year. He But Decker's been around for a long time. He's a veteran. He's a pro. We signed him to a 3-year extension last year. Decker is as serviceable as they come at tackle, and honestly, really underrated throughout his career. And Decker's put together some really solid seasons. And whoever plugs in next to him, whether it's Graham or Ratledge or Mahogany, whichever way they decide to do the line combination, I think our offensive line is going to be all right. Next we'll just dive into Ratledge, second round pick out of Georgia, kind of Frank Ragnow's replacement. Because I don't know if you remember, but when we drafted Ragnow played guard his first season, and then kind of took over center after that, and booted Graham out to guard. So, and that's a good thing about Graham too. So Graham's been around for a long time too, with us, with Denver, and then he came back to us. Signed 1 year, and then we signed him to an extension last year. And Graham's been very serviceable too, but he's got a lot of versatility. A lot of our offensive line has a lot of versatility. Graham's got versatility. He's got the capability to play both guard spots, play center, kind of plug and play wherever you need. And you really need that on your offensive line, is to have versatility and not just guys that really just excel at one position and stick to one position. Because I know through rookie minicamp, Ratledge was taking reps at center and stuff like that. And I'm sure through training camp they'll be alternating. Like Graham will be first team center, Ratledge will be second team center, but Ratledge is also going to be first team guard. So I'm sure they'll do something like that. But yeah, Ratledge, drafted him out of Georgia. I think the kid's going to be a stud. Only gave up 1 sack the last couple of years at Georgia. Big school, I think Ratledge is going to be really, really well for us. We just talked about Graham. Versatility, center, guard, both guards. Graham's serviceable. He kind of had an up and down last year, or a year last year, but that's all right. And then we moved to Mahogany. Mahogany didn't really play much last year, but the 2 games he did play, he was the highest rated lineman according to PFF. He played really solid against the Bears. Played really solid against the Commanders. I know everybody wants to forget that game, but he did play really solid according to PFF. They had him ranked as our highest ranked offensive player in both of those games, highest offensive lineman in those games. And as long as Mahogany can stay healthy, which I think he will, I think we'll be all right at the guard position, the center position. We'll get it all figured out. And then obviously Panay, best right tackle in football. He's been the best right tackle in football. He's barely scratching the surface. He's still young, and he's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer when all's said and done, hopefully 15 years from now, when he's done playing. It doesn't get better than Panay. He's physical, he's athletic, he's a freak of nature. And Panay is absolutely unbelievable. Good person, too, good attitude, team captain. He's a leader. He's been a leader ever since he stepped foot in the building, and which is a good quality to have because he is still so young. And then we move into the best part. Sonic and Knuckles, Ja Gibbs, and Demo, or Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, whichever one you want to call him. Ja, Demo, Sonic, Knuckles, Monty, Gibby. Start off with Jahmyr Gibbs. 1,900 plus scrimmage yards last year, led the NFL in touchdowns with 20 for skill position players between running backs and wide receivers. Absolutely incredible in the pass game. Really excelled more in the pass game last year than in his rookie season. And then obviously the run game, he was just absolutely incredible. 16 rushing touchdowns, 1,500 plus yards, or 1,400 plus yards. Just absolutely incredible. The way Gibbs shifts, the way Gibbs moves, his agility. A report came out today that he's going to be split out wide more, so using him more in the pass game, which is going to be a matchup nightmare for linebackers and slot corners, especially if they're not too fast, because Gibbs is fast. Too fast. 2 players on our team, too fast. Jamo, too fast. Gibbs, too fast. You ain't catching them. You ain't touching them unless you get lucky. You grab them by that shoestring, you better hold on, because they're taking it all the way to the house, or they're going to gash you for 40 plus yards. Gibbs, absolutely incredible last year. Just scratching the surface again. So young. The sky is the limit for Gibbs. NFL execs and scouts rated Gibbs the number 3 running back in the league, and he's only been in the league for 2 years now. And it really took him, a while his rookie season to get going. He scored his first touchdown against Baltimore in 2023, and then he really got going after that midway through the season. And then last year he just hit the ground running and never looked back, never stopped. Highest average, 5.6 yards per carry last year in the NFL. I mean, absolutely just incredible. And then, obviously, David Montgomery. He's going to get you the tough yards. He's going to get you the 4th down conversion on 4th and 3, 4th and 4, 4th and inches. He's going to get the tough yards for you. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield, hence Devon Witherspoon laying on the ground in the Seattle game when he rocked them. Demo, 12-plus touchdowns the last 2 seasons. He had 775 yards last season. His season got cut short. Came back against Washington. It wasn't really the same. First game back. Didn't really want to overuse him and stuff like that. But everybody knows Demo is as solid as they come. Solid. Best running back duo in the NFL. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Hands down. Go argue with the wall. I don't care. Best running back duo in the NFL. Complement each other well, running behind the offensive line, in the pass game, being reliable targets for Goff. I mean, blocking when they need to, making the big plays, protecting Goff. I mean, you name it, Sonic and Knuckles are doing it. And then we kind of move into the depth players a little bit. We got Skipper. Skipper's been around for a long time now. Coyote Owashika. He's been around too for a while now. Played in some games, played in some playoff games. Same thing with Skip. We also have the kid that we picked up from Arizona, Tristan Colon. He played 7 games last year. Serviceable. He's played in 60-plus games in his career. He's bounced around a little bit, but also serviceable. Veteran presence to bring in with the rookies and stuff like that. Also drafted Miles Frazier out of the 5th round from LSU. He's a beast. He fell to us too. Ratledge and Miles Frazier both fell to us in the draft, and I just really, really think that we got some good depth on the offensive line, as well as Giovanni Manu working out with Decker this offseason. We drafted him as kind of like a project pick. And, they said Manu was night and day difference from last year to this year. So, really good signs for Manu. And we got 4 preseason games. The rookies, the quarterback, the backup quarterbacks. I mean, everybody's going to get a shot. More shots than not, because we got more games in the preseason. And preseasons where guys that are on the roster bubble and rookies and, guys have been hanging around for a bit but can't quite crack the roster, they get a shot. We got Jamarco Jones. Natane Mutai, we had him. He was banged up last year. Kingsley Aguican, he's a true center, so he's got a shot. He's been around for a while now too. I mean, Michael Neese, he was around last year, got hurt too. Colby Sorsdale, we drafted him in the 5th round out of William & Mary a couple years ago. So we got some guys we got some guys. Now here's the thing: there's not a lot of open spots on a roster for all the positions that we went through. So, you got to make the most of it. You got to take your shot. You got to not be afraid. You got to step up, make plays and stuff like that. And even then, it still might not be good enough. But get on the practice squad, or you're not just trying out for the Lions. All these players that are on the roster and stuff like that. You're trying out for all the 32 teams. And these players have lives. They have families. They have dreams and goals and aspirations. So I just hope that everybody stays healthy. I hope that everybody has a good preseason and stuff like that, and the guys that need to step up, and they step up. And it's not really Campbell Sile play starters, but we might see a couple starters play for a series or 2, because we do have 4 preseason games this year. I'm sure he's pondering with that idea. And then the big thing is we got the backup quarter battle. We drafted Hendon out of the 3rd round. Hendon was going to be a Heisman finalist, and he tore his knee. And, unfortunately, his draft stock dropped, and then we drafted him here and stuff like that. We've seen flashes. Last year in the first preseason game against the Giants, he got hurt. Played against the Chiefs, played decent against the Chiefs, played decent against the Steelers. So it just kind of all depends. I mean, it's Hendon's job to lose. We did bring in Kyle Allen. I mean, backup quarterback's kind of always been a question here. I mean, yeah, we had Teddy in 2023. Teddy didn't, play at all except for the preseason where he lit it up in the preseason. And then last year he played a couple snaps when we brought him back in the Washington game. But this is really Hendon's job to lose, and we have a lot of skill position players. We have a lot of weapons. Still some guys we didn't even talk about, like Siona Vaki. He had a good preseason last year. We brought in a couple other guys too, a couple other running backs, Kyle Robichuk's and Anthony Tyus III. So we got some running backs. We got some guys hungry. We got some guys looking to make our team or make other teams try out. It is Hendon's job to lose because Hendon was brought in to be the backup quarterback. I wouldn't necessarily say the quarterback of the future, but Hendon was definitely brought in to be the backup quarterback. And, we brought in Kyle Allen. And Kyle Allen's been around the league for a bit. He's bounced around from some teams and stuff like that. His best season came in 2019 where he actually started 13 games for the Panthers, and he threw 3,300 yards and 17 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. But Kyle Allen, he's got 4,700 yards in his career, 26 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. He's in Carolina, he's in Washington, he's in Houston, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and there's some good programs there. There's some good quarterbacks that were there that Kyle Allen got to learn behind and stuff like that. I know he's older and stuff like that, but we only brought Kyle Allen in on a veteran minimum contract. We sent him for 1 year, $1.1 million. So it's Hendon's job to lose, and Hendon's got weapons and stuff like that. But eventually it's going to be all right, you're going to step up. Do you want the job? It's your job to lose. You're the backup. And, that's with a lot of these guys. Some of these guys have been teetering around on the roster of the practice squad for a few seasons now. And, unfortunately in the NFL, I mean, you just don't last forever. So some of these guys, excuse me, some of these guys need to step up and, make the plays they need to make and, get it rolling. And, we'll see in a few weeks in Canton. I'll actually be down at the game. Be on the lookout for that podcast that night. I'm going to be doing a podcast analysis of the game, break down the game and stuff like that. Episode 3 will be coming out soon, and we will do the defensive breakdown and dive deep into the defense because we got some new players, we got some new weapons, and we got a lot of guys returning and a lot of guys hungry to return. Also, guys, I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you could please like and subscribe. It's free for you to do. It only helps me grow my channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I love the Lions. I love talking about the Lions. There's going to be plenty of more videos coming forward, podcast breakdowns, everything. Everything Lions. All things Lions. I'm also going to be doing a giveaway once we get to 100 subscribers. As you can see behind me, I got some pretty cool stuff. Won't disappoint with the giveaways. So please like, please subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Thank you.